Good evening, everyone. I would like to call to order the regular Dania Beach City Commission meeting. It is 7 o'clock, and it is October the 10th. Call the roll, please.
Mayor James?
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Here.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Here.
Commissioner Grace?
Yes.
Commissioner
Here.
Salvino?
Here.
City Manager Baldwin?
Here.
City Attorney Ansbro?
Here.
Thank you.
You guys are laughing at me because I said 7 o'clock and it's 7:05. It's okay.
Yep.
Can we please have a moment? Can you bow your heads for a moment of silence, please? Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'll try to be quiet one more time.
Presentations and special event approvals. So we have the breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Commissioner Grace, you want to speak on it? Go ahead.
Any problems?
There are no issues.
Oh, wait, October 20th.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. May I?
You sure may.
Just for a second, thank you. Now that it has been approved, we do this every year for the last 5-6 years in the atrium at City Hall. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're encouraging all those people that are breast cancer survivors, family members, friends, whoever, to please come out and support this great event. It's from 5:30 to 7:30 on October 26th in the atrium. We're going to have educational pamphlets. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have music. We're going to have food. We're going to have raffles. But most of all, we're going to be able to celebrate another birthday and raise money for breast cancer awareness. We're encouraging all men and women to please wear pink on that event. And I'm hoping that you will be able to come out and support it. Mark, Felicity, you can start working on my flyer now. Thank you.
Excuse me. Okay. Proclamation. I have a proclamation in front of me for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Women in Distress. Is Matt Williams here? Okay. So I'm going to read the proclamation and you can come and receive it. Whereas domestic violence is one of the most widespread problems in our society, which affects women, men, and children of all racial, social, religious, ethnic, and economic groups, it can have a huge range of consequences if it is not dealt with, and in some cases has even led to death. And whereas ramifications of domestic violence are staggering, and the tragedy of domestic violence touches all of our lives by weakening families, leaving emotional scars as devastating as physical ones, and creating destructive cycle of violence, where those who were abused as children may become abusers themselves. And whereas, although great strides have been taken to educate our people about domestic violence, an average of 3 women die each day in America. Wow. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 13 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and domestic violence still often goes unreported. And whereas we are asking everyone to play an active role in preventing and ending domestic violence by stepping up to stop or report violence when they see it, and to commit to making sure that no one suffers alone. And whereas Women in Distress of Broward County, Inc. is the only nationally accredited, state-certified, full-service domestic violence center serving Broward County through a 24-hour crisis intervention hotline and emergency shelter, as well as offering counseling support for victims and their children. And whereas we call on the residents of the city of Dania Beach to speak out against domestic violence and support local efforts to assist victims of these crimes in finding the help and healing they need. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Dania Beach City Commission, I, Tamara James, the mayor of the city of Dania Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Dania Beach, and encourage victims, loved ones, and concerned citizens to help raise awareness of this serious issue. I would like to thank you for a lot of that information that
Greatly
probably
appreciate
was unknown from many residents and maybe a few of us sitting here like myself. I would like to thank, women in distress for all of the hard work you guys continue to do. I know my organization actually works with you all as well, and I think you guys do an amazing job, and it's very, very necessary. And we're going to go down, if anyone else has anything to say, and hand you this proclamation and take a photo with you.
Greatly appreciate it.
I don't even think she's here. Oh, to the rescue. Okay, we're going to come to the middle, Katia said.
Say something, please.
Mayor and Commissioners, my name is Matt Williams, and I'm the Communications Manager with Women in Distress here in Broward County. And on behalf of Women in Distress and all of the domestic violence victims we serve, we'd greatly like to thank you, the City of Dania Beach, for your continuing ongoing support for our programs and commitment to bring awareness to this issue and to see to it that we can end domestic violence. We could not possibly do it without the continual support of communities like your own. So thank you so very, very much for proclaiming October Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Commissioner Grace.
We certainly appreciate everything that you do also. You are one of our charitable contributions. Hopefully, we will be able to upgrade that this year.
Greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you so very, very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Citizens' comments. We have two. If anyone else wants to speak, citizens' comments, there is a paper right to the east when you walk outside, and you can fill it out and give it to Luis. William Stephen? Okay. Close enough. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
William Stuber, S-T-U-B-E-R.
Stuber, okay.
This is about
Your
Dania
address.
Pier.
Can I have your address for the record, please?
5421 Buchanan Street, Hollywood.
Thank you.
This is about Dania Pier. When the city ran the pier, they used to, enforce rules and stuff. And ever since Harbortown, or whoever, I think it's Harbortown, took it over, they don't enforce rules at all. You have people going out, they bring more rods than they're supposed to. They use rigs that are endanger the wildlife, mostly birds. And the people at the pier told me on the side, and other people, that they are not allowed to go out and enforce any of the rules. So you have a group of about 10 or 15 people that come out probably every evening, or, at least when I'm there, and then on the weekends, and they can completely control the pier. They'll bring out 10 rods, scatter them, and tell people they're not allowed to fish there. And if a family's fishing the corner and they want to get in the corner, they just literally put the rods right on top of them. And it's been going on ever since Harbortown took it over. I've been to a few meetings, and there's been a few knockdown brawls out there because of it, and there's other things, and that's the main thing. But when the city of Dania ran it, they kept it up. They kept, the rules going. And they have a 3-rod limit, and people go out there. You can watch the beach cam in the mornings, and they'll come out with 7, 8 rods. And it's pretty crazy. Families, a lot of my friends and families don't even go out there. I would never take my grandson out there but one time. So just so, I wanted to bring it up and let everybody know about it, and,
Appreciate that.
and that's it.
Commissioner Grace?
You are exactly right. There are rules and regulations, and they should be enforcing them.
Yes.
I've been at quarter decks where I actually saw somebody on that pier throw rot out, and there was a pelican
Yeah.
that got caught. So we really got to make sure that they do what they're supposed to
What
do out
they
there.
use a rig called a trolley rig,
Yes.
and they use it, it's a line you throw way out, and then they slide the bait down it, and the bait kind of flounders right on top of the water, and the bird's instincts are, they fly by and
Sure.
grab it.
Right.
And they'll have 2 or 3 of these little 3-prong hooks on there. So what happens, and you can ask the lifeguards, one bird will be hooked in the corner of the mouth, another one flies by and sees an easy meal. He jumps down and grabs onto it. So you have 2 pelicans on the same line. You bring it up, the line's not able to hold it, the line breaks, and then the 2 birds are hooked together. Either one of them rips the hook out and flies away, or they both drift away until they die.
Yeah.
Or the string's still on the leader, and they'll fly up into a tree at night. And then when they go to fly away, the line's tangled in the tree, and they dangle there. And you can go to the bird place. If I haven't taken 50 birds there in the last couple of years, I haven't taken any.
I know you're not exaggerating because I was there myself and I saw it. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that we have some way of contacting West Track to make sure that we do what we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
not only to protect the birds and
Yeah.
the residents that are fishing off of our pier.
Yeah, and the trolley rig, that's what the main one is. That they have signs, you're not supposed to use it at all, or balloons, because the balloons will go out and the sea turtles eat them.
I don't know a whole lot, but my husband's a fisherman and
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
tells me.
You know,
everything.
I've fished piers all my life,
Okay.
and now I didn't even want to go out there, you know, so.
Thank you for bringing it to
Okay,
our
all
attention.
right.
Thank you, I
very much.
appreciate you. Christine Douglas. Good evening, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Christine Douglas, 4665 Southwest 38th Terrace, Fort Lauderdale/Dania Beach. I don't really know where to go, so I'm coming to you all. There is a neighbor in our neighborhood. She lives at 4500 Southwest 38th Terrace. She's an elderly woman. She lives by herself. Her property looks like a forest. It has, over the years, because she hasn't been able to maintain it, the trees along the seawall are now blown over because of the storm and because of being so overgrown into her pool. She has a tree, a big tree limb on her roof. She really doesn't have anybody to help her, and the work that needs to be done there is just, it's too massive for a group of people. I mean, you almost need cranes to pull some of these trees out. So I'm open if anybody has a number or somebody that I can call to contact, because it's just too much. She's probably 80 years old. Her place is all fenced in, and she has concrete walls all around it, so it's kind of difficult to get in there. I have a key, but I don't know who to go to. So she said that she's contacted some people from the county, and then she tells me that people don't call her back, and then I mean, it's just, I don't know what to believe, but I'm like, this needs to be, I need to try to help her.
Christine, what's the address?
It's 4500 Southwest 38th Terrace, and her name is Juanita Swanberg,
Last name spell?
Swanberg.
Okay, and you will provide me with the phone number?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then I will have Tamara James Foundation,
No, wait a minute.
Robert Chun Foundation, Dania Economic and Development Corporation. We will go out there and take a look at it and see. Notice I threw them in the bus with me, okay?
I
Because
appreciate,
that's
because
way
the
I work.
trees are literally laying in her pool, and the one that's laying on the roof, I mean, there's just no way that she's going to be able to take care of it, and it's
Yeah.
just too
Well-
much for like a group
Well,
of
can we
neighbors.
see if we can have Cole ride by there and see?
I think
Because I
they-
can
I
ride
think
by
they-
there. I don't know anything about trees and how they're.
I mean, they're
right.
massive. I
Okay,
mean,
so
they
we'll start
probably-
there, and if any community
Brad,
work that needs to
you
be
got
done,
it?
I'm there.
Did you get it?
So we have Brad and
Okay.
Mark.
Okay.
And you'll call me, let me know?
Or
All right.
make sure you give your information to both of them so they
Okay.
can be in contact with you and you can help out.
Some way, some way.
I want to thank you for being a great neighbor.
She won't say that, but.
I know, but I thank you for looking out.
Thank you so much.
Vice Mayor?
Is she open to receiving help, or does she just want to leave it alone?
Well, she is, she's picky. Like, I had to call AT&T to come out to
Like Mrs. Green
replace her phone line. And she said that somebody came into her yard and took the phone line down, and it wasn't the case. It was AT&T going there to repair the phone line. The first group said they can't do it because of the trees, they have to cut the trees. So she says, oh, no, I don't want that one done. I don't want that one done. I want that. So she's kind of picky, but she also gets confused. So she doesn't really remember every conversation in detail. So whoever goes there, I'm going to probably need to be there because I'm kind of like her main
Right,
contact
she
person
trusts
now.
you.
Sounds like Mrs.
Right.
Green when we first started doing her project.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So-
Christine. Well, make sure
Thank
you give them your information.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Public safety reports. Chief, you're first. No, you had a busy day.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
As everybody's aware, there was a bomb call at Collins today. Luckily, nobody was injured. All the students were evacuated. Our bomb squad responded and conducted a search with the canines throughout the building. Nothing was detected. The staff and students were allowed to come back right on time for dismissal and pickup and all the transfers. But everything worked out. We worked great with fire department at our command post. We had 2 county buses scheduled to come stand by at the rendezvous point, and the fire canteen was coming with water for all the students and staff that were going to be out there for a while, so they'd have AC and water. So we worked great together, the incident command and the staff from the school was on scene at the command post as well. Our violent crimes unit responded to investigate, and the end of the story is a student had got a hold of his father's cell phone and thought it would be cute to call in a bomb threat. So the student's going to end up being expelled from school, and that was just given to us.
The student
about an
goes
hour.
to the school?
Yes,
Goes to Collins?
that's what I heard, or was leaving the school area and got a hold of his father's cell phone.
Wow.
I talked to Deputy Rodriguez, who's the school
Hope he got
resource
a
deputy
beating.
there, and she said that the student's been a problem, and she's going to continue to work with him. But, you know, unfortunately, that starts at home, and the 8 hours a day they get to spend with her sometimes doesn't just do it.
Yeah.
While that was winding down, our CST team, along with the fugitive unit and SWAT, located an individual that was wanted by Fort Lauderdale police. They followed him to his residence over at 180 East Dania Beach Boulevard, the new building. Up on the 4th floor, they took him into custody, and while they were taking
At the place at Dania Beach?
The place?
Oh, my gosh.
so while they were taking that subject into custody, we noticed a large amount of narcotics and money laying around. So detectives scanned the rest of the condo for any other people inside or any threats, then stepped back, went in and wrote a search warrant. And once the judge signed it, brought it back, read it to the suspect, and we recovered all kinds of cocaine, crack. He was actually cooking the narcotics in there.
Goodbye.
So he's on his way to jail. In reference to the complaints we've received along Northwest 6th and 7th Avenue between 1st Street and 2nd Street over the last 2 weeks since the last commission meeting, we have handled 55 police service calls. We've had 2 felony narcotics arrests. We've responded to 1 abandoned vehicle, 2 noise complaints, 2 suspicious persons calls, and 1 shooting. So we're making some progress over there. In addition to those arrests, we've had a burglary residence arrest, a grand theft auto arrest, and several grand theft arrests of firearms, but they're all in jail right now. So we're closing the cases. I also wanted to just briefly say that this afternoon, the sheriff organized 2 of the Dolphins players to go to the after program at Olson, where the Dolphins players got to interact with the
Good.
students there and run routes. And it was pretty neat. The Dolphins took videos. And I'm not sure if anyone saw before, 2 games ago, they aired a video of last year when we were over here by C.W. Thomas with the 4 players. So it was real nice that they're coming to Dania.
Didn't see any Dallas Cowboy players out there, huh? No?
They trying to recuperate.
But that concludes my report.
I have a question. It's,
Okay.
it's about a case that's probably old. Whatever happened with that case around Christmas time with the gentleman that went rogue in Dania Beach? I mean, is the case closed? Did he get sentenced, or you're familiar with the case?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can follow up on that. I know he's in prison.
Because I mean, was it only that one arrest? I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't act alone. I haven't heard anything about it.
I'll look into it and give.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Good job.
Well, thank you, and
Thank you.
continue to stay safe.
Keep on 6th Avenue.
Good job, Danny.
How you doing?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice
Good
Mayor,
evening.
City Commissioners, Sean Brown, Broward Sheriff's Office Fire Rescue. Well, we're finally getting back to, well, pre-storm normalcy, I guess. So I don't have a lot to report on tonight. Just wanted to remind everybody that this weekend was going to be the Safe Sound the Alarm Smoke Detector Initiative that's been put off now until, I believe, March. And other than that, I don't have anything else to report this evening.
Great.
Okay? Any questions for me?
Nope, that's all it. Thank you
you.
so much. Consent agenda, do we have any pulls?
Make a motion to pass.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandimart?
Yes.
Commissioner Grace?
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor James?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, public hearing in 9-1 is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the plat note amendment delegation request, DR 9517 application submitted by Joseph Dennis on behalf of Dania Live 1748 LLC for property generally located on the north side of Sterling Road between Bryan Road and Interstate 95 within the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A copy of which is attached to this resolution, and further approving a request to the Broward County Commission to use certain traffic impact fees paid by Dania Live 1748 LLC toward funding of certain road improvements as specified herein, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. Anybody who's going to address the commission on this, it's a quasi-judicial hearing, other than lawyers. Lawyers don't need to be sworn in. Swear or affirm the testimony you give you the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Thank you very much. Commission, if you've been contacted on this application, you would disclose that. Mr. LaFerrier.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Mark LaFerrier, Community Development. Corinne, enjoy a nice evening off tonight. This application involves a plat note amendment. The Dania Point plat was approved by the City Commission in February of 2016. And a part of that plat approval, the county requires that each applicant provide details about which land use and what the threshold for development of each land use would be. As Dania Point is continuing their refinement of their project and leasing out their project, they had some amendments that they wanted to make to the plat. So tonight's application involves that plat note amendment. The commission's approval will then be forwarded to Broward County for a final approval there. The plat note amendment would increase the amount of square footage by about 45,000 square feet, which would bring it up to almost 1 million square feet of commercial development. 50 additional hotel rooms, which would bring the total up to 350. Removal of 12 gas station pumps that were associated with the Costco that was previously a part of their plan. Now there wouldn't be any gas stations at Dania Point. And then the number of dwelling units stays unchanged. Also, an important feature of this resolution, if the commission approves it, is a request to Broward County to utilize the funding that Dania Point will be paying for their roadway impact fees that will be in the millions of dollars to Broward County. What we're asking is that some of those fees be utilized to improve Old Griffin Road from Bryan Road up to New Griffin Road for the new roadway design that Broward County, the city, and the DOT have worked on. Staff recommended approval of this application, and the applicant's here. If you have any other questions for either one of them.
This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Move the item.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandimart,
Yes.
Commissioner Grace,
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Yes.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, discussion and possible action. We have a discussion to cancel the November 28th commission meeting, understanding that we're going to have double workload. I know you guys are used to that.
Yeah.
But that's discussion for, probably we need to discuss
Yeah, we
November
did it
and
last
December.
year in,
So I'm saying we need to discuss November and December, correct?
December, I think it's already been approved, hasn't it?
Yes.
That was already approved.
Okay.
Yes, so we just November,
Okay.
and definitely I'm in. Cancel.
Okay, I make a
Cancel.
motion, we cancel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Vice Mayor.
Sorry.
I'm personally, I think we're all going to be here, so can't we have
No,
a
we're not
workshop
all
or
gonna
something?
be here.
I mean, it's the week after a holiday.
No.
The time is short, the year's winding down. Don't you think we should at least have a workshop about branding or?
You go right ahead.
I will.
Come to my house.
Okay, I'll have it.
Okay? You gonna be here? Let us know what you decided.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Bring it
I'm
back
just
for a
saying,
vote.
I'll come to workshop.
we have a lot to do, so if we
We'll
can just get
there.
together and have lunch and talk about some things,
TEAM will,
You paying or what?
yeah,
no,
we should
I'm
have
not
a
going to be
meeting.
here.
You can't get the lunch.
I won't be here either.
okay. I'm
Sorry.
saying,
Well,
I'll be here,
okay.
I'll be up here all by myself then.
Okay.
So, anybody wants to come from out there?
Partay.
Lunch.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. I guess we're going to call the roll for this one.
Commissioner Brandimart,
Yes.
Commissioner Grace,
Yes?
Commissioner Salvino,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris,
No.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the next one is the procedures for renaming and co-designating streets. City Manager?
Mayor, we had told the commission that we would come back with a policy for naming streets. The old policy, as you know, has caused some problems for us in the past, and we've had at least one street renaming that became very complicated and contentious. So Mr. Donnelly mostly has worked on this policy and put together something that we think will correct the problem.
Long overdue, I think.
Okay, has everyone read the policy, or do we want to adopt it, or?
We've passed it out with the, do you want an explanation of it? Or
A short explanation for the people that
Colin,
have,
would you like to present it?
Okay.
Colin Donnelly, Assistant City Manager. In brief, as the manager stated, the other policy, the prior policy was cumbersome. What we try to do here is to clean it up and to allow staff to verify those things in an application, which it can. The old policy drew lines around it, had geographic references for signatures and approval and counting between residents and property owners. This one calls for a petition, but it's not tied to a geographic area for a code designation of a street. What we want to do is show the commission through support of petition, letters of support from community groups and other people to sign a petition and submit it for approval. And one of the issues that we had before is notice. We're going to use a method of notifying the public that we currently use, and that's following the community development's variance and project notification. They know how to do it. They know how to do it well. So we'll follow those paths. Plus now we have Code Red and other social media to get the word out, code designation. The most cumbersome part of the process has to do with street renaming, and that's where you would take a street and actually rename the street rather than it being First Street, Southwest First Street. We changed that name to Monroe Udell. There weren't a lot of businesses on the street. Not too many people were impacted, so something easy to do. But if you were to take a major road and change its name, you're impacting people, their mailing addresses and other things that have to do with 911 and other things. So that's going to become more cumbersome. And what we've asked the applicants to do, if they want to go through that process, one, pay an increased fee. Two is to sign a petition, but the petition would actually have them sign have it notarized that the person signing the petition actually lives there, because the burden is on the people who live there to have the name changed. Whereas before we would get these petitions, the clerk could not verify that the person signing the petition lived at the property unless they're a property owner, then she'd have to match up a signature. Virtually impossible. So now the burden is going to go on the applicant. We don't have too many of these, so I don't see it happening too often, but the co-designation has seemed to happen in the city a little bit more, and that process is easier because we have to do a lot less verification, and what we're really asking the applicant to do is, show a preponderance of support from the community, and we would use the P&Z board to hear it and invite people to come hear it. So if there's any issues or support for it, they would approve it and make a recommendation to the city commission, and the city commission would then, do an ordinance hearing, hear the application as well.
If you remember the last time we did a co-designation, there wasn't full support in the community, but we weren't really aware of it when the commission passed the renaming.
Part of the research that we had done, we went back and looked at the city ordinances. Not all the street names were, I'm not going to say properly because they probably were done before policy, but we didn't have records on some of them. So what we've done in this policy is sort of recognize the ones we know about where the streets are. And we're basically saying that if there might have been a street naming we didn't know about and have no record of, so we're not going to acknowledge those through this policy. And if there was ones that are offensive or something, this action will get rid of those as well. So it establishes a baseline of what our renamed streets are and what our co-designated streets are. And in addition, the policy also leaves in place that if the city commission wishes to waive any of the processes, you can certainly rename a street, unless, of course, it's on one of the automatic denials, and those being like a state or county road or one that's already been renamed. It's in the policy, but it gives the commission flexibility. If you want to go forth and do a process of renaming, you could certainly do that outside of the petition process.
We have a few comments. Commissioner Brandon.
Yeah, I'm happy that you are revisiting or have a policy together, because if I'm recalling, well, they weren't here then, but it was a very embarrassing situation that nobody really wants to talk about it, and I don't either. I just am glad that you found a way around these things now, and it won't happen anymore in the future.
That's confident.
That's good. Thank you.
Commissioner Grace.
So I guess there's an impossibility of naming Grace Lane at Dania Point at this point. Am I correct?
I think you'd have to talk to the developer.
I knew that was coming.
But I've got a lot of people that are in that area petition-wise. That will definitely happen because they will be for it, not against.
Well, if it's named outright, then it doesn't have to be renamed.
Then I want one too.
I have a question for you. When we're co-designating these street names, I mean, obviously I have a street name. I'm co-designated a street name, but when we do not put Northwest or Southwest or anything in front of these renamed streets or these street names, the post people don't really know. It's a turnover there, and a lot of my mail has been sent back because it was a new post worker, and they didn't know if it was the Northwest section versus the Southwest section versus anything, because how it was put in the system, and I know we spoke about this before, was just Tamara James Avenue instead of Northwest Tamara James Avenue, so they get kind of confused. I'm not sure how we put in these applications
Is that right?
to the post office, but if it's something that, do you guys think that we need to add?
He's shaking his head in the back. He's going. Right, John? Yes.
Right, what?
You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Oh.
Yes.
Needs to be coded.
Yeah, so if that's something, I just know about mine because I'm missing a lot of merchandise. So it gets returned. So not sure if we have handled that last one, or if moving forward, if that can be something else in that where, because everyone that works at the post office isn't from Dania Beach and doesn't know when streets are being renamed. They're here for a job. And unless you have someone like John that's worked there forever, it's a very loyal mailman, they're not going to understand where to put these things.
You just need to be careful when we do the resolutions and notify them. But I did check on that, if you remember, and of course, post office said that they're not having any problem delivering the mail, but that was the postmaster.
Well, what we could do on a co-designation, we just alter the policy that said, it should carry the Northwest-Southwest designation for a name. And that'll fix
Right, but I'm guessing when we're putting it in the system, you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't pull up that way. Like when I put Northwest Tamara James Avenue, it gives me a correction of just Tamara James Avenue. It doesn't recognize the Northwest part of it. And if I just take it at that Tamara James Avenue, the mail is going back. So I don't know who inputs it in what system.
I think
You do?
on that one, we followed what was in the application. The application said Tamara James. That's what was.
Okay, so that's something we need to
I think
fix.
it starts at the beginning.
So change the application.
Okay, so it's something that you guys can change.
We can offer that.
Okay, thank you. You have something, Mr. Collins? Yes. Please come and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Rodney Collins, and I reside at 24 Southwest 5th Avenue, Dania Beach, Florida. I had a point of clarification that no one seemed to ask. Mr. Donnelly said something along the lines of, in order to have a petition signed, it has to be notarized. Are we referring to every signature being notarized?
Just the petition.
That refers to if you're actually going to rename the street, and that would be every signature. It only require the signatures of the people, where 50% of the people actually live on that street. So if it's a short little block, maybe 5 or 10 houses. But the reason why we do that is because there's no way for us to verify a signature about who lives there, whether they're resident or whether they own. And if they're not a registered voter, we wouldn't know what their signature would look like. They're putting that burden on the applicant.
So the applicant, so I guess his question is, for the applicant, could they notarize all of the signatures at once, but each individual one has to be notarized?
Yeah, that would be, I don't know how a notary would do it any other way. I mean, it's a way to say that this person who owns the property, approves of the petition. If we're going to go by approval, just a regular petition, if the standard was that if for renaming, since it's complicated, has an impact on those properties, you want to make sure that the property owns the property and they approve of it by signature.
Could we put the responsibility on the applicant to say that I hereby state that all of these signatures are from XYZ, and then they can notarize his statement, and if that's not true, then they are disqualified from those names and signatures that's on there?
I understand where you're looking to go with this, but the notary would only notarize that the person handing in the form is that it's that form, not whether the content is true. And if you were, there would be no risk to know whether the content is true once you gave it to us. We would have to assume it's true. We necessarily wouldn't have a way to check the signature. That's why we put this burden on the rename.
We also found that sometimes what people represent aren't actually the facts, and that they may say everybody's for it and sign something that everybody's for it, and then it turns out everybody's not for it.
Commissioner Brandon.
In fact, while we were at the League of Cities, that's exactly what they taught us, that you can't even put any faith in any petition unless it's with a notary. And they said, because it's funny thing that happened was, let's say 100 people sign a petition. And so you're going to look at it and take it at face value and say, oh, yeah, they really are against this hotel. They were given this as a for instance, Mayor. And so what they did was they took the people out of that environment and asked them a question again, and those 100 people had the opposite answer. Okay. You can't go by the petition. Look at the night of the Twin Towers in here. We were open the doors. We were full. The petitions, all the names on there, most of them were signed out of Publix and God knows where else. They didn't even live here. Didn't even live here. So petitions, anybody even comes here with a petition, I look at it, I don't pay no attention to it. Because I figure you signed that name and he signed your name. It's just as a hard thing to do with a petition.
Under the petitioning for the code designation, which is the lower standard, we're suggesting that you put the name and the address and the affiliation. I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody living out of town signing a petition, but if you know what they're affiliated with, they might belong to the group and live out of town, but at least you know who they are. And petitions and counting the signature on the petition is not the benchmark for approving a co-designation or recommending to the commission. It's what other community groups are you bringing in support of who from the community. And using the P&Z board, they're from the community. They'll be able to gauge the level of community support on which they can recommend it.
Thank you. Mr. Collins? You.
I don't have a problem with a one block street being renamed because relatively speaking, on a logistic level, someone have to know who's on that block. But I don't believe this is going to work if you have multiple blocks. I have a street in mind that's 6 or 7 blocks long. Now, I'm an Old Town resident. Once upon a time, I knew everybody on the block, in the block in front and behind. That day has passed. But to saddle a organization with having to pay for a notary to follow them around to get all those signatures notarized, I've never heard of such a thing in any democratic idea that I've ever heard of. And this certainly wouldn't work in a larger city than Dania. Not at all. So why should Dania put that burden on us as a petitioner to rename a street, and we have to have a notary? I mean, if there's some logic to that, somebody needs to explain that to me. Because at this point, it only appears that there will be no renaming of streets in Dania, because you couldn't meet the minimum burden of having those streets have a petition with everybody's name notarized. I mean, I don't know. How many notaries you think start walking around here? Because they're going to devote a day, 2 days, several days to just notarize a signature. Somebody's going to have to be paid. It's a real different idea than just simply saying having someone to sign. And I don't have a problem with rigorousness of signature, because I've seen petitions signed all the time, and people put the wrong address. They don't live there. I got it. I understand that. It should be at least relevant. But to say a notary, every signature, I don't get that. Maybe somebody has a better explanation for me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comment regarding this?
It would be hard for us to, as Mr. Collins said, have a naming of anybody in the near future. I think that before we really sit down and do this, we need to workshop it with all of us, just not the vice mayor. But, all of us need to workshop it. I love you, Bill.
Will you be here, Vice Mayor? Yes, of course. Okay. Okay, we'll come with a date. Yes. Everyone wants to do a workshop?
Yeah, I think we should, as we're doing the workshop.
You mean on this matter?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Can they include other things in it as well?
Yes.
Yeah, not just
we'll
okay, let's do
add other stuff to it.
Can we? I know this is so off topic. I'll bring it up in my commission comments, but okay, we can do a double workshop of some sort, because I have another idea of a workshop, but I'll wait until my commissioner comments.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Brandon Marty.
I'll save mine for the workshop.
Commissioner Grace.
I was really happy that Christine came before the commission, because she seems like she's at a loss for how to help this lady. And I can remember when court enforcement came before us, Mrs. Green that lives over on 9th, Southwest 9th, and they were going to cite her for not having her house painted in the yards. And then I said, why would you cite her? She's 90 years old, so we can quick fix this. And they said, yes, we can do that. And so I got my team together, and I believe you were not on the commission at that time, but you were out there with us helping paint her house. And I had several guys out there digging up her yard and planting some new grass and stuff.
And Christine, she was picky.
And she, I mean, I never said.
She was like, "Don't paint up." I was
She
like,
wouldn't let
"Ma'am,
anybody
I'm not a
come in the yard
professional
unless
painter."
I was standing there with them. And I said, "But I can't be there all the time. I've got other stuff to do." But Bobby Grace, I need you here. And she would talk to him. Get out of my yard. Get out of my yard. But when we finished, and it broke my heart when she passed away, because I know that every month that her yard needed cutting, she was going to call me. And I told the guys, be ready, because she's going to call. You got to go out there and you got to cut her yard. We painted the house. And so I think that these are programs that we can work together to make sure that once we upgrade a house in the community, it makes everything else look more appealing. We're getting ready to do 10 houses in my section in the next month, where we're going to be painting and landscaping. And then I think he said the first of the year we're going to move to the southwest section, and then we're going to pick the southeast section, and then we're going to go out to Mataluca, and we're going to
Can we wait until the sun goes down? Like, can we wait until
I know,
it's still
but
summer right now?
I'm telling you, but I've got 100 volunteers coming for the first one, so that should be
Okay.
awesome. We should be able to knock those 10 houses out within a day and a half. I think we'll be able to do that. So, and I really thank the Assistant City Manager, Colin, for working with Mr. Mann and myself and getting the residents ready to get a spruce up. So I think that's nice, and I'm looking forward to it. So this month for my Employee of the Month, it's a whole group. It's Public Works. What an awesome job they have done in this city. I mean, I know other cities are really on TV. They're not doing stuff, and they're stockpiling everything. But I know we have a long way to go, but I'm telling you, I am so proud of the way that this city looks. And I know it's going to take months for us to get there, but Brad, under your leadership and the people that work under you, they are fantastic and doing a fabulous job. So with that, we're going to be working on the Christmas party that's going to be on December the 14th at the IT Park for the general employees and everybody that works for the city of Dania Beach. So we'll be working on that, and I think that's going to be a beautiful party for everybody. We're going to be talking about the tree lighting ceremony that we're going to have out here. So all of these are pluses for us. The CRA, the patch, the pumpkin, and I know Kathleen and those people are not here, but I think is that next week that they're going to have the pumpkins in the patch, and they're going to have all these different entities there. So they're going to have carving of the pumpkins and so forth. So if you're not doing anything Saturday from 10 until 2, I believe that is the time frame for us to be there. I'm sorry that they're not here because.
But we should still all know it.
Yes.
Like everyone should.
Yeah.
know
Mention that. That should be an awesome thing. On October 26th, we already discussed that we're having breast cancer awareness here. My ladies from the estates of Fort Lauderdale need my sandwiches again. I know you guys come through 100%. I appreciate it. We have a great time, and we raise money for breast cancer awareness. I thank you so much in advance, because I know that when I look through the door, you're coming through there with at least 5 or 6 or 7 different trays, different sandwiches. They're ready. So I thank you so much. Let me see. If anybody knows Doe Green, he passed away today. He had a heart attack. He is an Addicts alumni from the class of 1967. Did I get it right? So he passed away. He passed away today, and it kind of broke my heart to know that, because he was my to-go person for my Thanksgiving baskets. He would bring the trailer all the way from Georgia with all my collard greens and my sweet potatoes and everything, so for me to put my baskets together. And I had just spoken to his brother at 12:45 today to remind him that I needed the stuff. And then his brother called me at 3 o'clock to tell me he passed away. It was like, oh my God. I also want to thank everybody for all of your prayers for my dad. My dad had a seizure on Saturday. He's back in the hospital, but, you know, it's not in our control, and we understand that. And I just want him to be comfortable as anybody that has a family member that's going through stuff would want the loved ones to do. So just keep us in your prayers. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Salvino.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, Commissioner Gray stole some of my thunder about Public Works. They did a great job. There's no question about it. I just know that in Hollywood, my business is still sitting with trees in my parking lot. If you can drive down there and pick them up, I'd appreciate it. I did see the Department of Transportation, FDOT, working Federal Highway all the way up and down into Hollywood, so that means they're getting cleaning the streets up again, and hopefully our beautiful Federal Highway will be cleaned up soon as well. But Brad, you guys and all the Public Works guys did a really good job. You need to be commended for it. On top of that, if anybody hasn't tried yet, FEMA is dishing out money. Go online and look it up, and if you are out of work, you are out of rent, you are out of electricity, there's applications, damage to your house, there's applications online. If you guys want to go, anybody wants to look it up, you can try to do that and see if you can get some help. The reason I know this is because 4 or 5 people have sent me emails telling me to do this, and they have also told me they've received substantial checks. The one was $1,800. The one, so it's on FEMA's website.
It's like an hour worth of applications.
Mayor, I was going to ask you if there's a possibility, that maybe we could get with on the Christmas tree this year, that maybe we could reach out to some of the schools and see if we can do some kind of a program that they can include some of the kids that might want to be involved, and maybe like wrap in a package or something that we can just hang from the tree. I'm not sure if we can do that or not, but present.
You said hang the package
Well,
from
they
the
put
tree?
wire. They have the lights that go up, and then they have a wire that goes around.
Mhm.
And I thought that it looks a little bit bare, and I thought maybe if it's a lightweight, we put a little description out. Maybe we could hang like a little box on it or something like that to decorate it.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a thought that maybe the schools might want to come in there, and we can get them to bring it in by December 1st. Public Works and hang them on there if they're under a certain weight or something like that. Maybe the.
Are we going to use the same tree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to. We just bought it.
Oh, wait, we own the tree.
Yeah, well, it's a string of lights.
Can we put more branches on it? It's a little bare.
No, that's why I was saying maybe we could put some decoration type of thing on. It's a thought, because
Okay.
last year, so if you wanted to discuss it, maybe in the
workshop.
5-minute workshop.
The everything workshop.
Let's see, what else was there? There was one more thing. 1, 2, 3. Except I scratched it out. I forgot what it was. 1, 2. All right, that's all. That's all. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Oh my God, you got a list.
It's a short list. But because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Holy Cross Hospital is giving away free mammograms if you're 40 years old and older, if you have no insurance, and if you haven't had a mammogram in the past year or never had one before, you can get a free mammogram at Holy Cross Hospital. So the number is 954-294-0582. If you know somebody that needs that, we'll try to give them a free mammogram, and maybe we can prevent some cancer. Just a lot of things I talked about with the city manager, and also I have the, which you talked about before, the evaluation forms from the city of Parkland and from the city of Weston that we can possibly start those maybe by March 1st.
What evaluation forms?
Employee evaluation forms, because.
Who's going to evaluate them?
The department heads.
That's for department heads.
But it has nothing to do connected to their pay, right?
No.
Just their
So it's not pay for performance.
It's just
It
performance
could be if we
evaluations.
structure it that way. It's never been done, so.
It's performance evaluations only for management. It's not
Okay.
for the-
Mark Leferrier, the appraisals for the surplus properties, because I'm getting calls about people interested in those, and when are they going to be available for sale?
Sure, we've got some of the appraisals in. We expect the rest of them in this week. This is regarding the city or city-owned properties and declaring them surplus. We first have to get an appraisal, bring it back to the commission to determine how they want to dispose of the property. Some of the appraisals have already come in. Okay. We're expecting the rest of them this week, and then we'll bring it to a commission meeting. Hopefully this year. You know, you have one meeting in November, and then one in December. So.
And Vice Mayor, we can sit down with each commissioner and go over the parcels, see if you have suggestions.
That's all. Thank you.
All right. I wanted to know, and I spoke to the city manager about what are we doing about this conference room. Nothing is still happening yet, and it's still very embarrassing to have meetings and conduct business there, as well as not having any. It was hot in there today, you know.
I have a status report on that.
Yeah, and we need to figure out, since we didn't get anyone interested in this, in City Hall, what are we going to do? Yeah, with the RFQ in City Hall, what are we going to do with this building? I mean, are we going to put money into it? Are we going to keep sitting around? And we need some type of direction from the city commission, more direction and less just discussing things, but actual action on it. Because in my opinion, I think we just remodel our existing building. We have a lot of room here. We can fit offices for all of us and BSO here. Look how big the lobby area is. It's huge. It's like a theater type of building space. And so we need to really make a decision on if we're going to keep trying to put Band-Aids on this building, or if we're really going to do what we're doing with rebranding and rebrand our city hall as well, because it is very outdated. And that brings me into my next discussion about branding. I would like, we have a few, I was able to sit down and understand that we have a few brands that will be coming to the City Commission. And we wanted to first do a workshop. And we wanted all of you out to be present. And
check with the Vice Mayor to make sure that.
Are you going to be here, Vice Mayor? He's going to be here 365 days, okay, in the next year. But if we could possibly do it at Redline, they have different technologies in order to enhance the view of things, and their screens look probably more detailed and higher resolution than our screens here at City Hall. They're right here in the city of Dania Beach. We really need to get a hang on this and get a wrap on this. And so if we can possibly do the workshop next week, if we can get together and do some, and we can also do that workshop. We can talk about the street renaming and the Christmas tree lighting all in one.
Can we do next Tuesday?
I don't know. I will have to, we would try to coordinate it and make sure what's available first for Redline, get their dates, and then maybe we can work around them since they're presenting. And then I'll have Luis or city manager or someone, I don't know.
Well, we'll touch base with each of you and see if we can come up with a date.
Okay. I got a call from the state, and I also wanted to also thank Public Works. We have gotten a few complaints, but it wasn't from Public Works. I guess it was from people that we were contracting with how some streets were left with some of the debris not being picked up, or maybe blowing it off, or maybe they, you know, it wasn't how they wanted it. But you guys have been working very, very hard, and I'm glad that Bergeron has also honored their wages, because I just got a call from the state before I came in here and said that the state is only giving up to $9 per cubic yard in reimbursement for the rest of these cities. And so I am very happy that that is a big break on us, because if we would have had to pay $20 per cubic yard, we would be left with that bill. So I want to thank you all as well. King Tide has had a very big effect on our beaches this past week. I know I've received some video and footage. The last time I was out on the beach at King Tide, I lost my shoe just stepping over the walkover, so I'm no longer going to the beach during King Tide. As far as, I want to speak a little bit about the Dania Bears. I know that we had discussion about policing being present there and possibly that we have to purchase policing through Parks and Recreation. Are you having to pay for that, Mark?
Yes, we're paying.
Okay, well, I know a few Dania Beach police officers that don't mind volunteering their time during those football games. Is that allowed, Chief?
No, ma'am. It's a liability issue. They have to be on duty in case they were to take action.
So there's never...
If it's direct traffic at a church, there could probably be exceptions made, but if it's like an event where they might have to take physical action while wearing a uniform,
Oh, that's out. I like that. Okay. And I also wanted to discuss this at the CRE meeting, but I know that they have, under their strategic plan, they have goals and objectives, and they have a budget there for marketing. And no, they have a budget there, I'm sorry, for branding. And since we are allowing for Redline to do our branding, I want to know if we can take those monies and kind of allow, we don't want two people to do the same job. So they're going to work together, but they have monies in their budget for branding, but they're not doing the branding. Redline is doing the branding. So, yes,
Mayor, I won't speak for the CRA, but you have the authority to spend money within their budget however you wish to spend it.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Just wanted to make you all aware of that because I went through their plan and I saw that they have line items with funding for branding, and I don't want to duplicate efforts there. The Fall Pumpkin Patch, I looked it up for us, Commissioner Grace. It is October the 21st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we hope to see you all there. And last but not least, the best university in the U.S. won the football game against Florida State. It is the U. I'm a proud alumni. So, yeah, you Florida State Seminoles will have to wait 365 more days before you lose again. Okay? It's been a long time coming. It's okay. And with that, we still lead 30-32. So we'll give you guys that. So we'll move on to appointments. Airport Advisory Board, Commissioner Salvino.
I do too.
Mayor, I've called, I've texted even people on the board and asked if they had any recommendations. Maybe publicly, if I ask for help, I'd like to have anybody that's interested submit an application to the Airport Advisory Board for a review. I don't just want to pick somebody out. I'd like to review the application before I make my appointment. Everybody I've picked has showed up all the time for the meeting, so I'd like to have that. What's that?
No, this is Bobby.
So if anybody is listening or anybody wants to be in the Airport Advisory Board, please come to City Hall or go online and fill out an application. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. The Green Advisory Board, still need an alternate position? No. Okay. And do you all think we need a marketing board?
I think we work it out in the workshop.
Oh, we'll work it out. Add that to the work. What? How much time do you guys have dedicated for this workshop?
3 or 4 hours.
And lunch, too.
You're going to provide lunch?
We'll get it funded.
We'll get it funded, okay.
Where's this one?
Great. I don't know. Just take one and pass them down.
Take one down. Pass.
Okay, administrative, no, we don't need a motion. We didn't add anyone, right? Okay. We're just more paper. We're supposed to read this tonight? I need a book.
Said we could do it. Mayor, did you recognize me? I'm sorry.
I'm recognizing all these papers,
Okay.
too.
I'd like to apologize to you. I'll blame it on the hurricane, but I have a number of items to present to you tonight. And the first one is an emergency procurement for beach cleanup that we did following the hurricane. There obviously an emergency purchase. There wasn't time to get the commission's approval. We exceeded the bid requirements of $25,000 to approve the contract. We would like to ask that you approve that tonight. It's a motion to waive competitive bidding and ratify the contract with Andeal and Yandir Concrete Services retroactive to September 12th, 2017, utilizing verbal quotes, and authorize the city to exceed the 25,000 annual vendor threshold limit for a single vendor. And again, it was only because of the hurricane emergency purchase.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Grace?
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor James?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The second item came up this week, and there may have been some misunderstanding over how the different organizations will submit invoices for payment. We're just asking tonight, we thought the commission wanted the Chamber of Commerce to issue invoices for payment on every item that they invoiced, and talking to some of the commissioners, I think we may have misunderstood that. But what I'm asking is then approval for the Chamber of Commerce to issue, the way we've done it in the past, 2 invoices, one for their general operation, and the other, I believe, is for an ad, for doing a catalog for us, ad catalog. So it was a total of $35,000. If that's your understanding that that's the way you want to do it, continue in the past, we'd be in favor of that.
That is my understanding. The chamber is part of our networking. They work hand in hand with us. Everything that we have in the city, they promote. They do a fantastic job with hurricane readiness. We should not penalize them for being a part of, because they are our second hand. Well, we got 2. Okay. So the chamber was not a part of the initial thought process. The initial process was the Dania Bears and the Dr. Martin Luther King celebration, and that's the extent of it, and that was the end of it. Nothing else was, from my understanding, was added to or from. Okay.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, like I said, I consider the chamber kind of like the business arm of the city, so they're on city property and they work for us, and so I would make a motion to approve that they get their payment as soon as possible.
Second.
Wait, that's what was discussed, or did you want to?
Yes, that would satisfy to get the invoice paid to the chamber.
Okay. Call the roll, please. Oh, do we have any other discussion?
No.
No? Okay. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Grace?
Yes.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harris?
Yes.
Mayor James?
Yes.
Thank you.
The third item is, there's a map and a report there, but we wanted to, you've been complimenting Public Works, and they have done a good job along with all the employees of the city, but the city's picked up 42,000 cubic yards of storm debris. We've completed 100% of our passes through all the neighborhoods for the first pass. There's likely to be 3 passes. We've begun our second pass. If you look at the map, you will see what areas are on the second pass, how much we have completed, but they're continuing to do a good job with that.
Mayor?
Sorry, yes?
To the city manager and to Brad, I know that this week coming up and the following week is going to be bulk trash pickup. We have people that have mixed together all of this stuff, and I know it's going to be very hard for you. We've sent out code reds indicating to them not to do it, but it's there. I don't know how we're going to handle it. Can you come and address that for us, if you don't mind, city manager?
No, that's fine.
Just to address that issue, unless there's a tremendous amount of yard waste mixed into those piles, if they're mostly like C&D and bulk mixed in, as part of the hurricane collection, taking them to the county dump site, which we will, which is different than the Bergeron site because they are just processing the yard waste. We can take those, so we're addressing that as we go this week, so we're really not leaving those piles. Like I said, unless there's really a combination of a pile that's got tremendous amount of yard waste mixed in with all of that other stuff and bags, we're not really, we'll take care of those separately, but all those other piles that are kind of mixed, they're being picked up.
Okay.
So the other ones left, there should be, very few that fall into that category.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yeah, Brad, there is, unless I missed it, there's a lot of houses still with a lot of brush. And, I mean, when I tell you a lot of brush, I mean, I go down my street, and it's not that you haven't picked it up. It's just that you keep bringing more out.
Correct.
And when the bulk comes around this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're not picking
The
that up.
bulk is not going to take that at all. They're just going to take actual, piles that are maybe couches, anything related to those kind of bulk
If it's
items.
mixed up with some brush, they're going to...
And the other piles will be taken by the debris contractors that are working.
Okay. I called you in question about the that company cutting trees down and putting the brush out. Did you know?
They're taking that. That's Asplund, FP&L.
Okay. Did you have to make them take it?
They've been instructed by staff, and they're taking it.
Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you.
Brad.
Okay.
Oh, wait, one more. Vice Mayor?
Can you tell me why there were so many mattresses injured during the hurricane?
Well.
It seems like it was the time for everybody to change their mattress and their box springs and,
Living room furniture.
will they pick those up with the debris during bulk? Is that what you just said?
They will pick up like those kind of things, the mattresses and stuff. If they can get them just in regular bulk, they will take those. If we have some piles that are, like I said, exceptionally mixed like that, we'll just work them out and we'll deal with it. But the bulk guys who are working this week doing regular bulk will take mattresses and all that stuff as part of the pickup. They shouldn't be leaving those all.
So the 4x6 cube doesn't apply to this time bulk pickup?
I mean, I would tell you, obviously we missed one bulk pickup, so they're gonna be a little more lenient in terms of the length of piles. But obviously, if something's got like a block long, they're not gonna take it.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate how much money we are going to spend with the debris pickup?
I mean, I probably would have to run some numbers before I could give you that total.
850 times 100.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I believe our anticipated costs are going to be less than we initially anticipated.
Okay.
Based on yardage so far.
Okay.
We've made significant progress, and the going through the second pass, it's really not that bad. What I've seen out there and what staff has told me, so we're doing pretty well.
Okay, thank you.
As far as the hurricane, some of the issues that we've had, all the city telephone lines are repaired and operational. The city. We've just spoken about debris contract, and we expect most of that will be picked up by Thanksgiving. The city has applied for public assistance with FEMA, and this is the first step in federal reimbursement for the city's debris removal expenses. The Public Service is seeking their last quote for engineering services to conduct a structural engineering review of several city buildings. And the mayor mentioned this earlier, but we're going to have them pay close attention. I spoke to this earlier about the EOC and City Hall and what the condition is of City Hall and what we need to be doing about it. Regular bulk garbage pickup resumes this week. Residents are asked to separate bulk waste from storm vegetation debris. All parks, the beach, the marina are all operational. And you'll see we've opened the parks on Monday, too, as you directed for October. The FEMA has opened a disaster recovery center to assist Broward County residents at Atrium West, 771 West Oakland Park Boulevard in Sunrise. The residents can access FEMA-related information on the Broward County website, www.broward.org. Operation Blue Roof, temporary blue roofs for residents with roof damage can call 888-766-3258 for more information. The deadline to register is October 13th, 2017, so you need to get that in. Broward County homeowners with damage that is documented can register for individual assistance from FEMA. Information on eligibility criteria and the types of assistance available can be found at disasterassistance.gov or by calling 1-800-621-3362.
Repeat that number.
1-800-621-3362. Residents without internet access can use the computers at our libraries to register. The city's website has FEMA forms. See the post-Hurricane Irma link at the top of the webpage. The Small Business Administration Disaster Loan Program is now available to businesses. And if you have been affected, please call 1-800-659-2995. 1-800-659-2995. And we please ask something very successful during the hurricane. Sign up for Code Red messages on the city's website, www.daniabeachfl.gov. That's all I have on the hurricane. Then
Hold on
I
one
passed
second.
out.
One second.
Oh,
Did you have something on the hurricane? Or you wanted to
Well,
wait?
what I was going to say about this was after what you went through with this hurricane, just by staying here at City Hall, I think we ought to get moving on this City Hall renovation. And I'll tell you why. I wouldn't wait for the CRA in any way, shape, or form, mainly because when they sent out for the RFQs, they got no response. It was zero. So now, to me, it means that we got to bring it back home to us, and let's get this hall going. You wouldn't want to go through what you did with the hurricane, with the water coming in your office and everywhere. But we have to make the decisions. I think the mayor's right. No more of depending on someone else to get RFQs on a building that I wouldn't even approve myself, and then throw this in the mix. This should be taken care of first. I think that's where we should we put it in Bill's workshop?
Yes.
No, we have nothing else that can fit there. Okay, it's in Bill's workshop.
Okay.
Okay, the other, this is a minor thing, but Mr. Kane is going to the Florida APWA Executive Committee meeting, and we didn't get this on the agenda. It's only for $227.50, but the commission policy requires all travel be approved by the commission.
Make a
So I'd
motion.
ask you-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay, and then I handed out, I told you I would prepare a projects report for you, and I'm not going to go over the whole thing. You can read it as you wish. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, but several of you had a few things that I just wanted to point out to you. That the bus shelters, the bid is being released this week and will be out on the street for 30 days. The Smith store has been purchased, the structure has been evaluated, the asbestos removal will be completed next week, and the building is scheduled for demolition the week of October 23rd.
Good job.
Oasis 12, which is CDBG, the bid was awarded. Broward County signed off on the contract, which they had to because it was CDBG, and we're awaiting return of the contract from the contractor and work can proceed. And then Oasis 13, the bids have been received, the bid committee is meeting, and the scheduled award is at the next city commission meeting. The four-way stop sign on Bryan Road, it seems the county is saying if we would take over the whole road, then we would have the jurisdiction to put in a four-way stop sign. However, it's something that I believe you'd want to have some evaluation of because it could be very expensive to take over all of Bryan Road, especially with construction going on in the area and improvements that need to go in there. So please read that and call me. And
Can we wait till after all the improvements are done and then want to take over the road?
Yes, you could do
Yes.
that.
Smart.
And then Olson Middle School, I know some of you are interested in. We'd received a letter from Superintendent Runcie, which I sent on to you, and apparently it's been delayed by the hurricane. But They had indicated they were going to have an NPM scheduled, a negotiation parameters meeting scheduled in September, which I don't believe they held because of the hurricane, and then scheduled declaration of surplus property by the school board, and the RFP to market the property appear to be similarly delayed. They said they were going to do that in October. I don't believe they have, but we'll give you an update on it as soon as I receive it from the school board.
Okay.
And then on the commission offices, we received the third quote under the $25,000 bid requirement last week. Staff is having a pre-construction meeting this Friday, and the contractor will start next week. You will receive finish and lighting samples for approval so that you can weigh in on that as well. And the construction will take approximately 30 days. Those were the main things that you had asked me about, and I believe that concludes my report. Thank you.
Nothing to add.
City Clerk?
Reminders, Tuesday, October 24th at 7 p.m. will be a city commission meeting. And then Tuesday, November 14th at 6 p.m. will be a CRA board meeting, followed by a city commission meeting at 7 p.m. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.